You're listening to Radio Kidnappers, the voice of Hawke's Bay. This is the program called
The Wonderful World of Wardini Books.
And as always, it's our pleasure to have in the studio the wonderful Lou from Wardini Books and Havelock North. How you been?
Morena, Ken, I've been very well, thank you. Yourself?
I've been good. You've been flat out like a lizard drinking.
We have. We've been really busy and it's lovely.
Is great to hear. And we've got 3 more fabulous books to review. Really long titles, so when I put them in the computer, it takes me ages. It's got a line about this long.
Good. Like to keep you in a job.
Yeah, that's right. And the first book is called Don't Worry, Little Crab.
Don't Worry, Little Crab. It's by Chris Horton and he's done these fabulous illustrations as well. Very distinctive style. I've read picture books of his before. There was one about a dog called, "Oh no, George," because George keeps doing the wrong thing even though he wants to do the right thing. But this one is about Little Crab. And Little Crab is becoming a bigger crab. And Very Big Crab, which is presumably a parent,
Yes,
I don't know. They live in a tiny rock pool and he's been very happy there, but today they're going off to the sea. It's going to be so great, says Little Crab. But he gets there, squelch, squelch, ticka, ticka. This is a bit I like. You know how you can hear crabs doing that?
Yes, you can, yes.
So they go ticka, ticka, tack over the rocks, and it's just so onomatopoeic, I suppose, evocative of the sound that it makes. So they get to the very edge. Here we are, says Very Big Crab. The sea. Oh, says Little Crab, and suddenly is mightily overwhelmed by the sea. Maybe it's better we don't go in the sea, says Little Crab. You know, and there's lots of reassurance from Big Crab. And whoosh, there goes a wave over them. I think I've had enough of the sea now, says Little Crab. And it's a really good read now because you can do the very worried Little Crab and the very reassuring Big Crab. And it's something that all kids go through.
Yes, it is.
And eventually he's getting his little tic-tacs wet. Don't worry, I'm here, come just a few more steps. Takes a step, then another till I'm in the sea. And he's all chuffed. But then this absolutely mahoosive wave comes towards them and takes them into the sea. And he's terrified. He's really anxious about it.
As you would be.
As you would be. But down, down, down they go, and their eyes are shut, and it's all a bit scary looking. But look.
Wow.
So they
new world.
They get to where
Yes.
they're going, and look, Little Crab. So he opens his little eyes, and everyone goes and greets him and says hi. And this is what it's like down at the bottom of the sea. And it's all beautiful and colourful, and everything's great, and they have a big game of hide and seek, and he doesn't want to go home.
No, he doesn't want to go back to that
I don't
little
want to go
farm
home.
anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So it is sort of allegorical, I suppose, about doing something new, and it's scary, maybe going to school, that kind of thing.
Yes, indeed.
But it's just a wonderful little book, because all children have anxieties about things.
Yes, they do.
All grown-ups have
We do.
anxieties about things. So just boil it down, put your toe in the pond, jump in, and see how it goes.
And show it as a crab, as opposed to a kid.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah, because they're
Great
just
book.
like that one step removed,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
And like you say, good story to read out
Yeah,
loud.
it's great. Tick-tack,
Just like you do, yeah. That's right, you do all the
I love
effects.
it. I love it. I love it.
Our next book is called The Native... Oh, sorry, not The Native. The Nature Activity Book.
It could be the native
Could be
activity
it
book,
looks
because
like
it
a
is
jungle on the front.
99 ideas for activities in the natural world of Aotearoa, New Zealand.
Yeah,
So
what
it
a
is.
Great drawing on the front.
Beautiful. The illustrations all the way through are by Pippa Keel, and the author, and it's in beautiful detail, is Rachel Hayden, and she's the boss at the aquarium in Napier.
Oh, let's look at that, yes.
The National Aquarium. So she knows her onions. She's got a teaching background and obviously a bit of science in there too. So as you go through, it is beautifully illustrated so that it's very simple what you need. So that's like materials that you'll need, paper plates and straws and sponges and things like that as you go through. So there's things about proper science things like classifying wildlife, for example. So writing about groupings, body coverings. Where is it? There was how to make wind chimes and stuff like that too. And there's a sound scavenger hunt. So it's stuff that you can do that's really interesting, but you don't have to put any time or you have to put your time in, but not your resources. You don't have to go and pay to listen to what you can hear in the street. So, you know, in town, listen for doors closing, cars. So things that humans do. And then in nature, you listen for different things. Polluted celery. Did you ever do that with your kids?
No.
Where you put the celery and you can put some dye in the water and it sucks it all up.
Yes, yeah,
so that's illustrating that, you know, this is how plants get stuff out of the ground. Rocks. How many kids love rocks and crystals and things? They
Every kid
love
loves it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So out you go and you find out why a rock's different shapes, what a mineral is, solid as a rock or not, rock type, and how hard it is and all that kind of thing. And there's just loads of stuff to do and listen to and see and make. And there's a wind chime one too. Action and kaitiakitanga, guardianship of our land as well. So there's a real sustainable focus in there on how we can look after our beautiful world. So it just is so comprehensive. I think you could just use this for years and years and years.
Who's going to
it's
appeal
genius.
to?
Pardon?
Who's going to appeal to? Kids of what age?
Kids of, I would say, you could probably do about 5 or 6 until 12 or 13, I suppose. Or I would do
like
them. I would quite like to go and listen to something in nature.
Yeah. It's got a real retro look about it. It reminds me of a book that would come out of the 1960s.
Yeah, it's beautiful,
Those
isn't it?
drawings and sort of,
Yeah, but really appealing because lots of kids want to do this stuff. It's just given time and opportunity. You know, saying, oh, get off your device. Okay,
What
help
am I
me.
gonna do? Yeah, that's right.
So
Let's go
here
and
you
do
go.
that.
Let's go and do that.
What a
Brilliant.
great gift. And our last book is called The Traveller at the Gates of Wisdom. Sounds deep.
It's deep as. It's by John Boyne, he wrote The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas, and he's written all sorts of wonderful grown-up novels, and this is his latest grown-up novel, and it's a bit of a mind-blower, actually, because this one starts at the time of Herod slaughtering the baby boys when they're looking for the, Jesus of Nazareth, and so we start in AD 1 in Palestine, and it goes all the way up to the United States of America in AD 2016. And it follows our protagonist who lives many lives throughout the book. And so you've got one chapter in Palestine, and this is what's happening, and he's born, and he has a mother and a father and an older sister and an older brother. And then it might be 50 years in the future from that, but the story carries straight on as if no time has elapsed, but you're in a different place. And then a different place 50 years after that, and you still carrying on. So the names are different, but the people are all the same.
So how do they transition the people into the different times?
They just do. John Boyne just does. So, for example, if he's just had a fight with his sister in the last chapter, then the sister's name might be Abela, and in this one it might be Adele, but it's the same family. And it's not reincarnation.
No.
He is living many lives, and I suppose it's looking at how many lives you might live and which way you might go. But the philosophy of the book, I believe, is human problems are the same, no matter if it was AD 1 or 2016. There are still going to be crappy people in the world, and there's still going to be bloodshed, and there's still going to be arguments and cruelty and love and kindness. But, it's universal. So it's so clever.
We said it was a heavy book, but is it an easy read?
It is a really easy read, and it's so easy just to slip into, oh yeah, okay, so I see where we've gone now. And eventually the protagonist, who's not named, it's male, and you follow him through his life and his marriages and his children, and you get to know him, whether he is in AD 1 or where have I been recently, Vatican City in 1512, and he's an artist, so he's always either a sculptor or he goes to a monastery in Ireland about 800 AD, and he's painting on calf vellum, the beautiful illuminated Gospels that they did.
Yes.
Yeah, so just these beautiful little historical things all the way through, but he's kind of the same person, but kind of not.
Out of 10, what would you give it?
Oh, for just sheer innovative writing, it's a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Have to come and get it then. So before we let you get back to work, just remind our listeners, if you want to get any of these books or of the thousands that you carry in stock, where are you?
We are 16 Tomato Road, Havelock North, and 44 Hastings Street in Napier.
As always, our pleasure, Lou. You look after yourself. Talk to the same time, same place next week.
Cheers, Ken.